What's doing, everybody? Today is Thursday, December 11th. Erika, Kirk, and Candace Owens are now going head-to-head as Tyler Robinson is forced to make his first in-person appearance in court for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. U.S. seizes an oil tanker from Venezuela. I've got Daniel Turner here to talk about energy costs, affordability, and more. I'm AlecLace. This is the AlecLace Show.
The American family is under attack. Parents are the underdog of this nation. Your children are being indoctrinated. That's right. Your children. They do not belong to the state. They do not belong to the school system. They belong to you, the parents, as a blessing from God our Father. So let's preserve, protect, and fight for the American family together. You're listening to the AlecLace Show. The future is family.
All right, welcome everybody to the AlecLace Show. I'm happy and honored, as always, to be here with you guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching the broadcast as it streams live on Rumble, get down there, hit the share button. Let's get as many people into the live broadcast as possible. Don't forget to hit that like button and follow wherever you're listening. Erika Kirk has now had enough, okay? It's gone too far. Everyone's been watching this saga unfold with Candace Owens, who has taken the reins on the Charlie Kirk assassination and has basically made it her entire program. She has been calling out Erika Kirk. She has been calling out Turning Point USA. She has pinned the blame on Charlie Kirk's assassination on just about everybody except Tyler Robinson. So you've probably seen the piece yesterday. It went super viral with Erika Kirk being more, aggressive, agitated than anything else. And you really can't blame her. This is someone who lost her husband, whose children are now fatherless. And one of Charlie Kirk's supposedly closest friends has become the center of attention in the conspiracy theory world. And she had had enough. Here's what she said yesterday on Fox.
That is how I feel. I do not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent. Mm-hmm. My silence does not mean that somehow Turning Point USA and all of the handpicked staff that loved my husband and my husband loved them is somehow in on it. We are busy building. And you know what I thought? We are all grieving in our own way. And they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They are trying so hard. And I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead or anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there. So for me, you want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole. Whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do. We have a hell of a team working on this. Excuse my French. But this is not okay.
Now, she didn't say Candace Owens' name there. Everybody knows who she's talking about, including Candace Owens, who wanted to make sure, immediately after this, she had to make sure you knew who she was talking about.
Erika has gone off on conspiracy theorists. Obviously, every journalist out there is emailing me because it's about me. It's indirect, but it's also about me. And don't worry, in case you think it's not about me, she is going to name check me on stage with Barry Weiss on Saturday. How do we know? Because our mommy sleuths be everywhere, and they recorded the town hall today.
Right, those are Candace Owens' pronouns. Me. It was about me. It's about me. She's going to name check me. It's like, oh, okay, we have to make sure we know it's about you, Candace. Everyone knows it's about you. And it has been crazy to watch. Now, here's what the other thing is in her rebuttal to this, where she's now the gloves are off. She can go at Erika Kirk now, she feels. And so she pretty much mocks her in a sense of saying, oh, yeah, you can't just be a widow and get to be CEO of the company. Here's what she said.
Well, now you're going to have to prove that you have the ability to be a CEO and a chairman and not just a wife who we expect emotion from. And you're rightful in that capacity. You are rightful to have emotion. You are rightful to be the aggrieved widow, but you don't get to just be widowed into the position of chairman and CEO. You don't get to respond to, well, in this case, investors, donors who have given money and are asking meaningful questions with, no, you don't get replies right now because this is the Charlie Kirk show, fam. Doesn't work this way, okay?
Okay, so it's obviously Charlie Kirk had put this in his wishes, his will. His wish was for Erika Kirk to fill in his place, and that is what has happened. But it's just Candace Owens is going for blood here when it comes to Erika. It's almost like she's very jealous that she's not involved in the Turning Point USA. And you would expect that these attacks that are coming you would expect them all to be coming from the left, and they are. And they are loving. The left is absolutely cheering on Candace Owens for what she's doing here because the left hates nothing more than they hate Turning Point USA. They always have, especially just like the Tyler Robinson and his furry friend, the gay community, the LGBTQ trans community. They hate Turning Point USA. They're always out there protesting against any Turning Point USA rally or event that they have. And they are absolutely loving what Candace Owens is doing because she's putting the blame for Charlie's death on them, not the left community. So not only does Erika Kirk have to deal with the left cheering the fact that her husband was assassinated on live TV for everybody to see, she also now has to deal with people on the right cheering on Candace Owens for going after her and Turning Point USA. Now, here's the craziness that's involved in this is that the minute you try to say something about Candace Owens, they try to all of a sudden, they get sarcastic with you like, oh, you just believe everything the government tells you. Oh, you believe, Oswald killed Kennedy. And they start getting all condescending as if they know what happened, as if they're holding the keys, as if, Candace Owens is the only one that's allowed to really ask questions about this. And if you don't believe Candace Owens, then you're part of the psyop. You're part of the conspiracy. It's gotten crazy with the stuff. Now, is there a lot of questions about the Tyler Robinson shooting of Charlie Kirk? Yes, there is. What Candace Owens is doing is pure theater. Right? She talks about, oh, Charlie came to me in a dream. And people are like, if you don't believe Candace's dream, then you're part of the conspiracy. You don't know what you're talking about. Candace had a dream. She had a dream. And the Egyptian planes. And people wearing maroon suits and shirts. Like, if you don't believe that, they don't count. Like, people have gotten so stupid and retarded over this entire thing. It's so bad. And it's like, yeah. So Candace has plugged in everybody that's responsible for this. Everybody except the guy, Tyler Robinson, who looks like the shooter, right? No, that's not even on the radar for her. It can't be some crazy leftist that's in love with a furry homosexual. That's not on her radar. It has to be something else, right? So it just seems like these intelligence agencies left just enough breadcrumbs for Candace Owens to figure it out, right? The Egyptian planes, these people decided to do this and didn't turn off their transponders. They just allowed Candace to track their every move. It's amazing how they did that, right? And they rented cars and they left a footprint behind, just like every CIA operative would, just like Mossad would definitely do if they were going to kill somebody. They would definitely leave behind a trail for a podcaster to be able to figure it out. Definitely. There's no question about that. And if you don't believe so, then you're just a conspiracy theorist. You're wearing a tinfoil hat. And Candace is laying the foot of the blame at Turning Point USA and at Erika Kirk. Oh, they betrayed Charlie Kirk. No, it sounds like you betrayed Charlie Kirk. That's what it sounds like. And are you allowed to ask questions? Of course you're allowed to ask questions. That is what we are doing here. Who else was involved? Now, here's the thing. Here's where I am with this. I don't believe the FBI narrative. I certainly don't believe the Candace Owens narrative. I'm right there in the middle between those two. Okay? I don't believe either one. I think there's definitely something more involved with Tyler Robinson who was helping him. Again, I've pointed this out a lot of times with George Zim. This guy that pops up, his whole background, his whole character is shady. Something where he was involved somehow with 9/11, the Boston Marathon bombing. He pops up at all these different world events. Something is not right about this guy. He's like a 70-year-old pedophile who's at Turning Point USA and immediately jumps up and claims that he's the shooter to take attention away from Tyler Robinson. Something's not right about that guy. And how does he tie into this whole thing? Again, he's a leftist. He's a lunatic. He's always been anti-GOP. He's got a history of being involved in the politics there in Arizona, where he goes into the GOP conferences and disrupts them. He's been he's a lunatic, this guy. How does he tie into this? Who else in the LGBTQ community that Tyler Robinson was involved in knew ahead of time that this was going to happen? Because it does seem like you had some online chatter about this from that community prior to this happening. Okay, was this kid Lance Twiggs? Did he have a bigger role in this entire thing? We don't know. But it's almost as if now, it's almost made it to where you're not allowed to ask questions because you have to. If you're going to ask questions, you have to agree with Candace Owens, right? And if you don't agree with Candace Owens, then you don't know what you're talking about. You believe in all this other things. Oh, you believe Oswald. Oh, what about Ruby Ridge? Oh, what about Waco? It's like, what does that have to do with what we're looking at right here? Like, stop the nonsense with that. Oh, yeah. Oh, Tyler Robinson was a patsy. Well, and I make this connection, if you look at a patsy, somebody, and they're trying to compare, like, oh, Oswald, Oswald was a patsy, and look what they did to him. So was Tyler Robinson. Well, Oswald was killed 36 hours after the Kennedy thing. And Oswald, immediately upon arrest, screamed, I'm a patsy. I'm just a patsy. He knew he was being set up. Oswald came from a point of saying he knew he was being set up. This guy said right away, I'm a patsy. Within 36 hours, they eliminated that dude. Okay? Tyler Robinson, that's not what happened here. Tyler Robinson wasn't even identified by the FBI. He wasn't captured by the police. Tyler Robinson was identified by his own parents and then confessed to his parents, and his parents turned him in. And he turned himself in under his parents' guidance. If you're innocent like that, then you don't do anything like that. You make a public statement as you turn yourself in. You say, listen, I didn't do this, but to have my picture out there, I'm turning myself in to prove my innocence. You make a statement. You come out and you say, I'm a patsy here. This is bullshit. Especially the father. The father would say, hey, listen, my son is innocent. They plastered his picture all over the place. That is my son. He is innocent in this. We're coming forward to the police to clear this up. That's how you do it if you're innocent. That's not what the father did here. And where is the father? Where is the mother? Where is the family? Why aren't they speaking out? Why isn't the father on Candace Owens' show? What a big hit that would be, right? He would be proclaiming yeah, Candace, you're right. Them freaking Egyptian guys with the maroon shirts, they're the ones that did it. My son's innocent. But then they say, oh, there's a gag order. You see, there's a gag order. He's not allowed to speak. You think for a second that a father's son that's going to go on trial for death is going to keep quiet because he would get a $1,000 fine and 30 days community service? Are you absolutely stupid? There's nothing on the planet that would restrain a dad if his son was going to be put on trial for his life for something he didn't do. Could it be father believes his son did it because that's what his son told him, and all the evidence seems to point to this kid? Now, is there more to the story? I believe so. But Candace Owens is now like, she's calling here was her post about like COVID-19. Like, she was basically saying like, it's like COVID-19. She puts, Candace 19 is spreading. To stay safe, please believe the $1 billion campaign of social media influencers reminding you to do your part and trust the feds. See, now, if you don't believe her, you trust the feds. That's the frame up of this. You have to believe her. If you don't, you trust the feds. You trust the FBI. Don't go Max, get the vax. It was a lone shooter on a roof with a magic bullet. We're all in this together, right? So she mocks it. She laughs. Now, first of all, she throws out the Candace 19 as if this is like same thing, like, you must have been stupid enough to believe the COVID-19 stuff. Here's the difference with that. Every video that I put up about the COVID-19 vax during that time was taken off YouTube, taken off Twitter, taken off TikTok. My account got paused on YouTube, 30 days, 90 days. I'm within one strike of losing my channel. Videos pulled down, videos demonetized. Not one of Candace Owens' video has been pulled down. She's talked all about this. See, you could tell the wildest conspiracy. Don't you think the people that are, hey, we got to shut this woman up, right? Don't you think that Israel or the CIA or something, hey, we got to shut this woman up. Take away her footprint online or something. Not one video has been pulled down. Not one video has been demonetized. Nothing. They're letting her go run rampant. Say whatever you want. So you can say what you want, but if you're actually over the target, they'll pull your channel down. If you're actually close to the truth, they're gonna nuke you or your channel or both. But that's not what's happening here. So Candace is free to say what she wants. No one's stopping her. She's not close to the truth. No one's getting in her way. Don't you think if it was Israel that did it, they would wipe her out? She's getting too close to the truth? That's not what's happening here. Now it's the French government. It was Macaroni that did it. It was the Trump administration. It was the military. Her story changes all the time. And it's enough. It really is. It's so stupid. Now, again, that doesn't mean you can't ask questions, because right away, that's what they come back at. Oh my God, you're just believing everything the FBI says. No. And you sound stupid when you think that. There's a lot of questions here. Let's look at the left. The left that hated Charlie Kirk more than any other political figure, more than any other public figure, the left hated. They hated Charlie Kirk, okay? Particularly the LGBTQ community. Hated him more than anybody, okay? So let's look there. Let's see that community. Let's put the focus and the spotlight on that community. The furry boyfriend. What's the connection there? Okay, who else knew about it? And let's get to the trial. Let's see what some of this. So you have Tyler Robinson makes his first court appearance today in person. You need to have the cameras going for this. I know the judge or the defense trying to get the cameras thrown out. You have to have the cameras in the courtroom for this, because if not, it's just going to balloon the conspiracy. No matter what comes out, the conspiracy theories are going to fly off the handle with it. No matter what, there's going to be nothing that's going to make a Candace Owens or the sheep that follow her believe that Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. They're going to tell you no matter what happens, it's a set. So there's no winning there. You understand? There's no chance. It's stupid to even try to attack it, which is what I'm doing right here, because you're never going to win. It's impossible. They're always going to move the goalpost. They're always going to, no matter what information comes out, they win. Because they're going to say, oh, yeah, you believe that? No matter what happens. They talk about the 30-06. A 30-06 would have blew his freaking head off. Okay, well, Martin Luther King Jr. was hit with a 30-06 at a closer range. It didn't blow his head off. Oh, but that was a conspiracy. Okay, so we can't use that as a comparison. They know everything. Okay, so he definitely wasn't shot with a 30-06. So then why did the people that set this entire thing up put a 30-06 bullet there? Why did they even mention it? Why did they use that rifle? Why didn't they use a regular 5.56 or something? Tell you it was a 30-06. Well, it was the grand scheme of things. They were just, they just slipped up. You found out. You got it. You're the super sleuth. You're like, you're Sherlock Holmes. Oh, that couldn't have been a 30-06. Oh, bingo. You nailed it. You nailed it. The CIA couldn't fool you. Mossad, they weren't smart enough to get one by you. Candace is too smart for them. They can't, the intelligence agencies, they can't get one by her, man. She's so smart. Of course it couldn't have been a 30-06. No way it was. They slipped up, you see. Same thing with the notes. Oh, they realized Candace was going to pick up on that. Oh, they almost got away with it, but Candace noticed something in the text messages that was a little off, see? And she picked up on it. So she took down the whole Mossad operation, the whole CIA operation. She blew it all up. She figured it out. They weren't smart enough to get by her. And if you believe that, you're a retard. Okay? But what is now is that the whole right side media world is in a disarray. Everything. None of it is, everything is all scrambled. Not only is it that we have problems inside the GOP because the House is so many rats in there we just had 12 or 17 or whatever block President Donald Trump yesterday when trying to get something passed. We have so many people against Trump in there that are taking him apart, blocking him from his every move, not putting his agenda through. And now outside here, the people that got fat in the purse because of President Donald Trump and built up these channels and built up these followings, now they're going after Donald Trump. And it's all a mix and match of nonsense. And that's what's happening. Now you got Benny Johnson is under the gun here. You got this guy Milo who looks like he smokes crack every minute of the day. I don't even know what that guy's story is. He goes on Tucker Carlson. He's telling Benny Johnson is a homosexual. He sleeps with men. So now Benny's credibility is under the gun, right? Obviously, Candace has lost her bird. She's out there. No help to anybody, just herself. She's the me. That's it. She's of use to nobody else. It's like, what is going on here? Tucker Carlson, it seems like everything is like, he's in the Qatar world. And that's what everything becomes Qatar and Israel. It's like Mark Levin, his entire thing now is about Israel. If you don't stand with Israel, I don't stand with you. If you don't support Israel, you're not American. His whole thing has been Israel now. Tucker Carlson's whole thing is Qatar. It's like, what the hell happened to America? What happened to just focusing on America first? This whole thing has been sad to watch. It really is. Meanwhile, the Democrats are laughing at us. They are licking their chops. They are laughing at us, and rightfully so. We're in disarray. We're getting nothing done. We're getting nothing accomplished, and when they get it, they are going to move at lightning speed. And so let's get into some of this stuff that's going on here in the United States, because U.S. just seized this oil tanker, right, from Venezuela. And, of course, a lot of people are like, oh, the U.S. shouldn't be allowed to do that. Why are they attacking these poor narco-terrorists from this Maduro, this dictator? They talk about Trump being a dictator and a king. This Maduro guy is wiping out his own people. He's as dictator as you get. He's a scumbag. And yet they're like, oh, well, why are we affecting him? We shouldn't be bothering him. He should be allowed to bring drugs into our country. Like, the left has lost their bird. But they seized this oil tanker yesterday. And the left, all they do is talk about the affordability crisis. That's what you hear. That's the code word this year for the Democrats has been affordability crisis, right? It's been parroted. Bill O'Reilly played a montage of this yesterday.
Affordability crisis.
The affordability issue.
Affordability is what voters are mad about.
The affordability crisis.
Out of control affordability issue.
Housing affordability.
When it comes to the affordability problem.
Affordability is a real thing.
Affordability crisis. The sky is falling. None of these people talked about any of this stuff during the 4 years of Joe Biden, when everything actually ballooned, when everything was skyrocketed. They didn't say nothing about affordability crisis. Now it's like the key word, affordability crisis. Well, is it true? Is that true? Is there an affordability crisis? Are we in some kind of recession? Is that what you're seeing here? Well, what prices are up? And it was you could break it all down. Here's the main things that have gone up, right as of right now. Beef, bacon, coffee, home supplies have gone up percentage wise, right? Coffee, I think the most percentage has gone up. What has gone down? Now this is from year to year. So this time last year, okay, beef, bacon, coffee are the main things that have gone up in price. What has gone down in price from this time last year? Clothing, eggs, butter, cereal, fruit, seafood, fish, rice, pasta, ham, gas. One of the main ones there is your gas prices have fallen. They are going in the right direction. They are going to continue to fall as some of these things that Trump has done are now starting to show their effect. And as that happens, it will reflect on the shelves. It will reflect, hopefully we'll see this in the utilities as well. This is another problem. Utility prices are a problem as well. But energy is everything, right? President Donald Trump ran on this. Energy dominance. I mean, it has to be the Green New Deal. Everything that went green sucks. It sucks. And that was everything that the Democrats want to push. Green this, green that. And it's out. But it does take time to come into effect. So I got my friend Daniel Turner coming back on the podcast here. He is the founder, CEO of Power to Future, all things energy. He's always got his finger on the pulse, so I'm honored to get him back on the podcast. Let's bring him on the show.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm at the White House with my dad, and you're watching The AlecLace Show.
AlecLace Show. The future is family.
All right, here we go. Joining me now, Daniel Turner. Welcome back to The AlecLace Show.
Alec, good to see you. Thanks for having me back, brother.
Always an honor to see you. Well, right now, the left keeps pushing this narrative of affordability crisis. That's their calling card right now. Affordability crisis. You can't turn on any kind of media without hearing that word. Where, in a sense, a lot of stuff is going down. They key on a few things, but let's focus right here on energy, which is what it all revolves around. What's the status right now of the energy costs in the country?
I mean, we're headed in the right direction. The Democrats are smart to capitalize on high costs, except they're pointing the finger in the wrong direction. And I use this as one example, and it's beef prices, right? We hear that a lot. Why is beef so expensive, right? We're getting close to Christmas. Everyone wants to make a prime rib. No one can afford it. 100% true, right? Beef is expensive. But let's unravel this a little. The average piece of meat that you buy at the store, the average cow we consume in America is around 3.5, 4 years old. That's the age of the animal that we bring to market and slaughter and sell. which means that that cow was born in 2021 and was 4 years of diesel prices that were $7.50 a gallon. All the grain it consumed was harvested and irrigated with diesel prices at $7.50. So by the time you get to the cow, the beef, the rib, it's got 4 years of baked in prices. Right when Joe Biden shut down Keystone on day one, you didn't feel it that day, but it sent market signals that accumulated over time. And here's where we are. So now they jump on the whole affordability issue. And politically, absolutely, it is the smart political tactic, but it is so bankrupt of just moral decency, of intellectual competence, of economic sincerity, that it makes you so angry because they caused this with their energy policies, and now they're trying to pretend it's new and was just came out of thin air.
You're right, and beef obviously is up. Also, bacon and coffee; those three things seem to be the ones that have trended up. While on the other side of it, eggs, butter, fruit, seafood, rice, pasta, ham, and others have all gone down. We've seen, the gas prices now have been plummeting and continuing to go in the right direction. But like you said, they're going to focus on these one things and they're going to pin it on, look, nobody can afford to go out to eat. The problem for Trump is here, too, is that, blaming the Biden administration can only go so far. People, we want to see some results. We want to see them happen. But then as Trump tries to do some of these things, he keeps getting blocked by these judges. He keeps getting, overthrown by, so like you just had a federal judge just struck down Trump's executive order blocking wind energy projects. So every time he does try to make a move, they try to handcuff him.
Absolutely. And go back to the things that you just listed, right? How old is the average piece of shrimp that you consume? That shrimp is only a matter of weeks old, which means just a couple of weeks ago, they were somewhere in the Gulf of America, and the boats that harvested those shrimps are burning diesel now at $4.80 a gallon. That's a lot cheaper than it was a couple of years ago. Eggs, I have chickens. I'm talking to you on my farm here in rural Virginia, right? I have lots of chickens, right? My layers are less than a year old, and the eggs were hatched this morning. What am I feeding my chickens? Well, I'm feeding them food that is harvested at today's prices. So these things that are more immediate, fruit, things that are harvested right now, are cheaper because energy is cheaper. But these long-term products, and I use beef, but you can talk about plastic, you can talk about construction materials, right? Things that take years to manufacture and bring to market are reflecting all those built-in prices. And you're right. The president's trying to take in all of the above effort to lower prices, and he is getting blocked in every single direction. It's why the Democrats are so crafty at disseminating their ideology across all sectors, whether it's media, judges, academia, et cetera, because then when they're on defense, they've got lots of different guards to help them out.
Well, the point that you make about the beef and the time that it takes for it to come to the market, I think is perfect. These things, they take time to show their real, head or the real fruit, because, like you said with Joe Biden, some of those green decisions that he made took time to show how bad it would end up being. And for Trump, that's going to take time to reverse. Even though he says, hey, on day one, we're going to get this lowered, it's going to go in the right direction. And right now, the way that they're talking about, I do the food shopping for the family here. I got 4 kids. My wife says I'm shopping for 6 people, food shopping every week. And I do it all the time and doing it for years. And I see the major difference that it is now doing the food shopping compared to, at the height of the Biden administration, where it was just getting buried. So there's definitely a noticeable difference. And here's the thing, though, too, Dan, doesn't sometimes gas affects us so much. So it's like if gas goes up, it affects everything that we buy at the store. But when the gas starts to come down, it seems like it takes a longer lag for some of this stuff to start. Like once they raise that price and they got you paying that price for a certain thing, very rarely do they want to reduce that price, even though they're saving money on the cost.
That is 100% accurate. And go back to when inflation was running at close to 10%. That was a huge spike in prices. And companies are reluctant to lower prices back to where they were. And they want you to get used to the new normal. And that is genuinely, frustrating. And it's frustrating, I'm sure, for the president who's trying to implement this economic agenda. Right. The other thing, and when it comes to green policies, as you mentioned, you look at especially blue state governors that very ceremoniously shut down reliable fossil fuels with the promise, we will build this offshore wind farm in Jersey or New York. We will build this. None of them got built. right? But they did shut down what was working. So now we look at electricity prices and we say, wow, they're 30-40% higher. Joe Biden shut down 100 coal plants nationwide. None of us voted for that, right? There was no referendum, but he unilaterally said, we are getting rid of coal. And no judge tried to block that either, right? I mean, that shows you the agenda at stake. And yet, what did they replace it with? Nothing. Well, electricity is a fixed commodity. And when you diminish the supply but increase the demand, the logical result is that prices go up. So now everyone's scratching their head saying, wow, my electricity bill is 30-40% higher than it was a few years ago. Yeah, that's what happens when you tinker with the markets the way the Biden administration did.
Yeah, that's a great point, too, because none of the judges stepped in to stop him from doing all this damage to the country, yet everything that Trump tries to, I mean, you could just see it with the amount of injunctions that he's had. He's had 40 plus injunctions, way more than any of the predecessors that he had. But the utility prices, that is another thing that you're talking about, because everybody has seen, especially places like California. You mentioned the blue cities. California has, I can't imagine why anybody's staying there unless they're illegal. Is staying in California. There's been a mass exodus out of there. Most people with a normal brain have said, this is crazy. They're paying out. I mean, everything that we're paying over here, if you look at the price in California, it's like they're on another planet.
Yeah, and yet Gavin Newsom is the front runner for 2028 for the Democrat Party. And what is he running on? He's running on clearly an anti-Trump philosophy. Just look at his Twitter feed. You know, for fun, I take some prominent Democrats and I look at their last 20, 30, 40 tweets. It's all Trump, right? They don't have a vision. They don't have anything they're espousing and offering. They don't have alternatives. They just have pure anger. Well, I know that works in campaign season. And so Gavin Newsom is the front runner. But what is he offering America? To look more like California, where you said they have the highest utility costs, the highest poverty rate, the highest homeless rate, the highest gas prices in the continental U.S., right? Gas is a lot higher in Hawaii, but Hawaii is also an island a couple thousand miles offshore and everything has to be tanked there, right? California used to have several refineries up and down the coast. Gavin Newsom's closed them all. He's now trying to reverse that, right? He's trying to get a couple of them to stay, but energy used to be dirt cheap in California. Everything used to be cheap in California. And he's reversed that with bad liberal policies. And yet he's the front runner. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's a head scratcher. And it does, you know, he's destroyed so much in California and to make him here's the thing, too. It's just like they had 4 years, Daniel. Joe Biden was the Democrats had 4 years. 2 years they had the House, the Senate, and we've seen what they did to the country. And it's almost as if they're banking on everyone forgetting. Like the reason why Trump is struggling to bring the prices down right now is because we had the Democrats in there for 4 years and what they did. And they almost like they have like amnesia. They want you to have amnesia. Forget about the fact that they had control of the ship and they sunk it. And now they're saying, oh, it's Trump's fault and we can make it better. But you have a proven record of failure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I will give the Democrats an awful lot of credit. And sometimes I do look at them with tremendous envy because when they have power, they get their agenda through, right? No one stops them. They don't have this sense of, oh, let's work across the aisle. We have power right now, and I don't see that same level of urgency. We really have just 1 year left, 1 year guaranteed, maybe more if we keep the House and the Senate in the midterms. God willing, we will. There's a lot to be optimistic about in the economy next year. It's the 250th. It's the Olympics, right? There's a lot of unifying things that can propel us into the midterms, but we only have a year guaranteed of House, Senate, and White House. And I don't see in our congressional leaders moving at the urgency of Trump, moving at the speed of Trump. And when Democrats had that power, they did everything possible to push their agenda through. And we look at each other and we play all these silly games of Candace versus Tucker versus, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is meeting with Code Pink, and you scratch your head and say, boy, I envy the Democrats in that sense. I mean, don't trust me. I would never be one. And I think their ideology is evil. But I envy the fact that when they have power, they seize on it with everything and they shove it down your throats. When we get power, we think, how can we be more like Democrats?
Yeah. Hey, you're right. They sing in a chorus. Everyone's everyone's a part of the group. They all seem to complement one another when they have the ball. Us right now, like you said, I mentioned this today at the beginning of the show, talking about everything with Erika Kirk, and that whole thing has been a disaster since the shooting. The same people that were celebrating Charlie Kirk's death are absolutely loving what they're seeing right now as this whole thing becomes a big infighting. All the top names, like you say, Tucker, Candace, Tim Pool's in the mix with all this stuff that's going on. Benny Johnson's being accused of being a homosexual. It's like we have all of the top MAGA brands. The whole thing's falling apart, and it's like we have the ball right now. Let's attack. We should be focusing on so many things right now, getting Trump's golden era accomplished. Meanwhile, all we're doing is nitpicking, fighting, and we're getting nowhere with it. Meanwhile, you do have people in the GOP that continue to stop their own party from moving forward. They vote against Trump. They just did it the other day, and it's just sickening to see. It almost makes you think, like, what the hell are we even trying for here? Because it just seems like the Democrats are playing at a much different level.
They are, without a doubt, and that's the easiest way to dispirit your voters. And I think it's smart that President Trump is going back on the campaign trail. He was in Pennsylvania 2 days ago. He's got like 11 more stops announced in the next month, and I think that's essential because no one is a better messenger than he is, and no one is a better unifier and brings out more people. We all watched the elections last November in my great Commonwealth of Virginia. A flawed gubernatorial candidate made it clear she did not want the president in Virginia. He didn't come. She lost, right? In New Jersey, it wasn't quite as blunt as that, but there wasn't an open arms. Trump did a rally on the Jersey Shore in the 2024 campaign, had 100,000 people turned out. How did we do in Jersey? We didn't just lose, we lost bad, right? So Trump draws people that other GOP candidates can't. And I think the fact that people are trying to run away from him now, they do so at their own peril. And I don't want to be a loser. I really don't. If you have to win to eat a little humble pie to win, eat the damn pie. But there's no honor in being a loser all by yourself. And I think the GOP, especially the GOP of our lifetime, my lifetime, the GOP has become comfortable with being elegant losers. Mitt Romney, John McCain, right? Like I lost, but I kept my head up high. I'd rather win with some bloody knuckles and dirt under my nails, quite frankly.
Yeah, well said. And it is frustrating to watch, but I do believe now that it's Trump's. Trump's not going to run for a third term. Unfortunately, he's not. It's a lot of tongue in cheek with that stuff. But I think they all see that as their opportunity to push Trump to the side. They've all been waiting for the day for Trump to get out of the party so they can try to reclaim it back the way it used to be, get their old deals, and everyone's trying to get ahead of that and see where they're going to take the whole thing. And it's terrible. But let me bring it back to the energy again, because one of the things they're talking about now. The U.S. just grabbed this Venezuelan oil tanker off the coast there. So they boarded that. It was a sanctioned oil ship. And there's a whole thing going on with Venezuela. Does this affect the oil prices, the gas prices moving forward, everything that's happening right now?
It could. I don't think so, because there's so much stability in American energy markets, right? One of the biggest drivers of oil prices over the last couple of years was uncertainty. And if you are in the oil and gas space and you need to drill, you need to get land, you didn't know if you would get your permits because the Biden administration wouldn't tell you if you would get your permits. You didn't know if you'd get your financing because the SEC under Biden appointed Gary Gensler would punish banks that lended to the fossil fuel industry. So that uncertainty just drove up prices because you didn't know what tomorrow would bring, right? The Interior Secretary at the time, Deb Haaland, who's running for governor in New Mexico, right? She would cite indigenous knowledge as to her reason for denying permitting. No one knows what the hell indigenous knowledge means. And when you embrace any race issue, it's meant to silence, right? It's meant to just scare people off. And she is half Native American. So she would say, I'm not giving you permitting because of indigenous knowledge. And everyone was supposed to be like, well, I guess we can't ask further questions. All that did was create uncertainty, and it created confusion and chaos. And we got $135 a barrel oil, right? There's so much certainty in what tomorrow will bring under Doug Burgum and under Chris Wright, both the energy and interior secretaries of this administration, that what happens in the world, kind of who the hell cares? And that's the way it should be. That is America first, right? Like Venezuela can go to hell for, Iran can go to hell for, like Russia and Russian oil. Who cares? We have enough of these things ourselves. Let the world burn for all we care. And that's the direction we're headed in because we have this certainty in our own markets.
Yeah, and that was Trump's plea. Trump's campaign. The whole thing was drill, baby, drill. We have the energy here, be energy dominant, energy independent, and that will lead to everything that we're hoping for, which is the lower prices everywhere across the board. And one of the other things I wanted to bring up, Daniel, is Ron DeSantis. I think he signed this or he's going to sign it, and Trump has been talking about this as well. Was limiting utility charges to residents to support the data centers that are developing AI, because AI now has become a thing taking over. But these things are expensive. These big, huge data centers that are needed for the AI are going to draw a ton of money. And they're saying they don't want that to be passed on to the consumer. But it almost seems like it's inevitable with the way that AI is growing. So what is your kind of how do you come at this with AI and our energy costs?
This is a huge problem because unlike anything else that governors can sign permits for or cut deals or have a ribbon cutting ceremony, these things are an enormous drain of resources. And so, every county commissioner wants to cut a ribbon with Mark Zuckerberg and say, Meta is investing X number of millions and it's going to create all these construction jobs and the construction unions want it, right? So you as a politician want that optic, like we have brought investment. And the other thing that politicians love about these data centers is they do have a relatively small footprint in that they don't hire thousands and thousands of people. When you get a Microsoft, an Amazon fulfillment center, yeah, you get the jobs and the revenue, but you also get thousands of cars and trucks and traffic. And a lot of times people hate the fulfillment center because their roads are clogged with 18-wheelers dropping off stuff. Data centers don't bring that, right? They don't bring a ton of jobs. And so they aren't a burden on the optics. They aren't a burden to the community, but they're a huge energy suck. And so we're building them left and right. And then all of a sudden everyone's utility bills are going through the roof. And then what does the county commissioner who cut all the ribbons say? Well, it's Trump's fault, right? It's they can always pass the blame on someone else. And so I think there is a reason to be concerned about building these things if we're not in tandem producing more electricity. And we're not building more coal plants. Unfortunately, we're not building natural gas plants. I saw the president announce that Secretary Wright announced 10 new nuclear power plants. Huge, very important, but we need to quadruple that in the short term.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see, just because it seems like the AI is taking over everywhere and everyone wants to be in on it, and you don't realize how much this is tied into energy and what it's going to take to keep these things running. And it's going to and it will be. Trump is the one that's going to have to pay the price for this, because they're going to say, just like you did, they're going to blame it like they do everything else. They're going to blame it on Trump. But it just seems like it's another one of these unnecessary costs that's going to get passed on to us. And, I wish there could be a way to pivot from it, but it just seems like every single thing. I mean, look at Elon Musk. It's like the only thing he's pushing is AI is the future and stuff. And yeah, I use it for some of the things, but it's, it almost seems like this is a, it's like a tidal wave coming at us that we can't avoid. And whether you like it or not, you got to get on board or get out of the way when it comes to this AI.
Yeah, but you also can't get stuck footing the bill for it, and that's what we are, right? When Microsoft moves into the neighborhood and builds a 2 million square foot AI data center, they are tapped into your utilities and your water. And now in the larger community is like, wait a second, what's the benefit here? Like, how is my life better? And this is where, again, our elected officials live in this alternate universe. Well, they say, well, look at all the tax revenue it's brought in. Where's the tax revenue? My taxes are still exactly the same. So then what do? You talk about the children. We've invested $400 million into our education. Our kids are still dumb as rocks, right? Our education system is still absolutely in the toilet. And no offense to the kids, but let's be honest, they can't do math at level. They can't read at level. So where's the money going? Right. So you look at your community and you say, you celebrate these data centers, but how does it benefit me? Right. Like my utilities are expensive. My water is more scarce. I still pay the same in taxes. Why would I want that? And now my job is threatened, right, from AI. Where's the benefit? So I'm not anti-AI. I'm skeptical about it, but I'm also deeply concerned that we're not putting in all of the thought around it. We're just bringing these things on really fast, and that regular folks are paying the price.
I make the same argument that you do, as you're saying there, when it comes to the gambling. Because I'm here in Jersey, in the communist state of Jersey, and we have legalized sports gambling now for the last couple of years, and it's brought in. It's like 1.5 billion a year of revenue that they do with the sports gambling. Where has that extra money gone? I mean, the federal tax, they win whether you lose gambling or if you win. I know Trump's trying to get rid of taxes on winning in gambling, but right now, if you win, you have to pay taxes. If you lose, they have to pay taxes. So it's like, where has all that money gone? Same thing with Atlantic City, the picket, the lottery. The lottery gets up to $1 billion. Somebody in Jersey hits it. The federal tax money is like $200 million. Where did it go? Same thing, education. But the kids ain't getting smarter. It ain't going to the roads because they're all shit. So it's like, well, where is all this money going? No one seems to identify. There's no ledger to say, hey, look, here's where all this money went.
It's the same with marijuana. It's the same with the law. All these things that they promise are going to be these huge benefits, and we're all going to reap. But it never trickles down to the average American. And we began this segment talking about affordability. You can't keep saying that all these things are bringing all this money and everything is great if I don't feel it. Right. And so, marijuana for me is the best example. It's legal everywhere. Everyone is stoned all the time. We have a whole generation of young people who are perpetually, you get in an Uber, it smells like marijuana. You walk down the street, it smells like marijuana. Where's the benefit? Right. Every pot store seems to just be a scene for crime and petty theft. And why are we so? I mean, you see the libertarian argument. People have a right to blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But why are we better that we've legalized this? Well, the money. Where's the money?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. So why would I want, again, data centers if I don't benefit from it? If you tell me Meta's going to build the data in this county and all of you are going to get absolved of property taxes for the next 10 years.
Right.
But if you
give
just
us some results.
If you just tell me we're going to build it and your utility bill is going to go up 30% as a result, screw you, Meta. Build your data center somewhere else.
Yeah, great point. All right, I got the link to the Power to Future downstairs, founder of it. Give me an idea of what you got going on over there. And like I said, I put the link down below.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Now we're just getting ready for 2026. Like I said, we have this narrow window that we need real change. I have to be prepared for the inevitable, and the inevitable is the bad guys will be back in power. And if we don't have structural changes and we have President Gavin Newsom and he appoints all these morons with their pink hair and their pierced noses and they want climate change agenda, we can't look back and be like, oh man, if only back in the day we had changed this law or tweaked that. So that's what we're focused on.
And that is what has to happen. If we don't do it now, and once the Democrats get in, they're going to do these things. They're going to jam it down our throat. We know that. So Daniel Turner, always an honor. Power to Future, got the link down there in the description below. Love to have you back on down the line. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your time today on the AlecLace Show.
Anytime, Alec. Thank you so much, brother.
All right, grateful to have Daniel Turner back on the podcast. I got the link down there, Power to Future. Always great to get his take on energy, and he is right on so many different aspects here, especially too when he talks about how the Democrats they are definitely going to be all in together the minute that they get an ounce of power, and the Republicans, let's face it, they're not, or for some of us they are exactly who we know them to be, but we try to act as if they are playing together with Trump. They are not. The Democrats, they will go all in on whenever they get a sniff of power, they are going to use it. They ain't going to waste it. They're not going to be doing this fighting that you're seeing right now happening within the GOP and within the outside MAGA influencer community. That is not what's going to happen with them. But energy costs, it is one of those things where it's like, okay, oil prices down, gas prices down. Where's the effect? If they can get the higher price, why would they change it now? They got you used to paying the higher price for whatever it is. Why lower it now? They know they can get more for it. Another problem with this affordability crisis thing is the illegals that are here sucking up all the resources. Get them out of the country, and that will help in the housing market, in the food market, will help with everything. Let's reimagine the SNAP benefit program, right? Let's get all the fraud out of that program. What will that do to the prices at the supermarket? So there's a lot more work to be done. And And you can only blame Biden so much. We know Biden sucked. We know his economy sucked. We know that everything that he did hurt the country. But it has to be now, this 1 year, it has to be just focus on, and I believe we're going to see a lot of good to come. I know Daniel Turner was pointing out some of this stuff. We have the 250th anniversary that's coming. That's going to boost, hopefully, American unity. You're going to see we have the FIFA Cup coming. We have the Olympics coming. So hopefully we have some momentum to head into the midterms here with like, hey, look, now energy costs has dropped, utility costs has dropped. I know that the interest rates have come down. The mortgage rates have come down. We had Jerome Powell to lower we got to lower the Fed more, the rate more, but the interest rates have come down to where they spiked under Joe Biden, and we did see under the Democrats when they had control of the ship what they did. So anything that they're going to try to say, like, oh, we could do it better than Trump. Well, you had 4 years and you cocked it all up. So don't give us this, oh, you could do better than Trump. The problem with Trump is that he's got his own people in the party that are hurting him, and they're not allowing him to pass his agenda. He can't even get his people appointed. He can't even get his people appointed. Here in the communist state of New Jersey, Alina Habba, he wants to appoint her. He can't even get her out of the freaking committee thing. He can't even put it to the floor to vote her in because of the politics. He can't get any of his people appointed. He's facing injunction after injunction. He's facing the entire media, that everything that he does, they turn it around and twist it. He's facing the right side podcasters who have turned their backs on him. So he's facing all of it as he's trying to right the ship, and I think that the guy is doing an incredible job of helping to save this country from the grasp of the left-wing lunatics that had it. And if they get it back, they are going to go right for the jugular of this country. Now, one of the other things, the last thing I kind of want to hit to bring up was this money that's going to the Taliban, $40 million a week. Like I seen Rob O'Neill, the Navy SEAL who shot bin Laden, talking about this, how they fought against the Taliban, buried their brothers fighting the Taliban, and now we're giving the Taliban $40 million a week. Now, Tim Burchett, who he was just on the show 2 weeks ago. He's been on the show a bunch of times. He's one of the best that we have in the house. And he went off yesterday on this. I mean, he has been trying to get this stopped, but he keeps getting blocked from doing this. You would have to ask, how in the world are we giving $40 million a week to the Taliban? It would almost be like right after World War II, we were giving $40 million a week to the Nazis. I mean, that's what it looks like. The Taliban is exactly who we were fighting, exactly who was trying to kill all of our soldiers over there, and now we're giving them $40 million a week. So here was Tim Burchett yesterday. This was a viral clip. Maybe you've seen it. I loved it. Check it out.
Hey, everybody. Tim Burchett. As you know, as I've been championing the cause to quit paying the dadgum Taliban $40 million or $45 million, whatever it is, a week. We're giving them over $5 billion total since the Biden administration. Every week, we can't stop the bill. We can't get the bill passed in the Senate. It's taken me over a year to get it out of that House. And we got a fellow over in the Senate who was a staffer, but he was a former, I believe, ambassador to Afghanistan. And his name is what? Tom West. And apparently, our good friend Tulsi Gabbard and the Trump administration denied him his security clearance because of his alleged cozy relationship with the Taliban. And so I suspect that's what's going on in the Senate. That's why they're stopping the bill. And people say, well, y'all are in the majority. Why don't you just act like it? Well, you got to have 60 votes over there to pass a bill of this significance. And that's the holdup. And we're going to continue to see this kind of nonsense until the country wakes up. And I don't care what party you're in. We shouldn't be paying these people any money. They will hate us for free. All they're going to do is use that money to come at us in a different area and kill Americans and kill our allies. Dadgummit. This is what's going on. I'm letting you know about it. You can make the call. Call your senator if you. This is beyond that. This is actual, in my opinion, corruption. We know this money flows around. We know, Elon Musk told us about it flowing into dark money campaigns. And I think some of this money, I'm not sure if this is or some of the other, but surely it's flowing back into the pockets of politicians in Washington. And if it's a Republican, I hope they haul them out of here in chains. And a Democrat as well, because I don't care. I'm sick of it. We're $38 trillion in debt. We're sending over $40 million a week to the Taliban, and the United States Congress doesn't have the guts to stop it. That's pathetic. Let's fix it. Thank y'all.
All right, yeah, it makes absolutely no sense why we can't get this stopped. It's almost a slap in the face to everybody that was in and served in that war and fought against the Taliban. And let's get, it just seems like the corruption is so deep. It runs so deep in Washington, D.C., that it almost seems useless to try to fight it, but you got to keep trying to fight it. One of the other things, too, you have today, Kristi Noem getting asked, under the gun, and one of the things you had, the Democrats were saying that you had the two guardsmen that were shot. Now, thankfully, the one guy is doing better now. Wolf, I believe, he is standing up on his own. It seems like he's on his way to recovery. We know that the female guardsman lost her life, but the Democrats say that was an unfortunate accident, and it's like, how many more of these Afghan refugees that are in this country that are unvetted? I mean, we're like a ticking time bomb here with so much of this stuff. And Kristi Noem, immediately went back at them. But it just, we're at that point where we've had so many people come into this country unchecked, unvetted. They're here, and it's just going to get ugly if we don't get them out. And it's hurting us in the purse. It's hurting us in our way of life, and it's got to change. But the way that the Democrats, they have done this is there, especially when it comes to the illegal immigrants. And like I said this on the program Tuesday, they don't even use the word undocumented anymore. That's not even what they use. They don't even use that word. They just say immigrants. Oh, look what they're doing to the immigrant community. No, this isn't the immigrant community. This is illegal immigrants in the country. And they're hurting our way of living and our way of life, especially what you're seeing going on up in Minnesota with the Somalians. And then they're all saying, oh, no, Somalia, it's a beautiful country. Somalia has been in disarray since almost its inception. They have the same huts there now that they did, style of living that they did 200 years ago, and nothing's improved there. They're like, oh, Somalians built America. Yeah, okay. They can't even build a tent in their own village. All right. A lot going on. We're going to see. Unfortunately, the Candace Owens, Erika Kirk thing is dominating the news cycles. It is dominating the headlines. The left loves this. They're going to keep pressing it as far as they can. They want to keep that up there because it shows that the right is fighting with one another. And it works for clickbait. It works for everyone making money off the whole thing. And it's so tragic what has happened in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death. I've said this before. It's just sad to see where we should be honoring this man's life, his message, his organization. But no, that is not the focus. The focus is on Candace Owens' dreams about Egyptian planes and maroon shirts. And it's sad. And I think a lot of it, again, has to do with a lot of jealousy from her against Erika Kirk. I think she seems like a lot of... And it's funny, too, how they say, well, Charlie Kirk, he was changing his tune on Israel. His book just came out posthumously. It's all about honoring the Shabbat or whatever it is, the... what do you call it on the thing on Saturday, the Sabbath. His whole book now is about upholding this Jewish tradition. They're like, oh, he was going to turn his back on Jewish people. Yeah, okay. Well, his book that just came out posthumously, his last words on the planet, is telling you to honor the Sabbath, and it's all about how he follows these Jewish traditions. So it's like that makes no sense either. But now, unfortunately, that he's not here to speak for himself, they can take it in any direction. And you still got the lefts that post these memes. You've seen them with the, finished my Christmas present early. It's the puzzle with the piece missing in Charlie's neck. They post pictures of like, oh, well, let's see what Charlie has to say. And they're holding a microphone to a skeleton. They're still vicious. These are the people that are laughing right now at the way that this is all going down and taking attention away from Tyler Robinson, who, by all accounts, seems to be the shooter of Charlie Kirk. All right, so that's what I got. Let me know in a comment down below what you think. Grateful to Daniel Turner for coming back to the podcast. Follow me on X at AlecLace. I'm going to do my best to get a few guests on the podcast next week. Always a pleasure to be here with you guys. God bless our parents and our listeners out there. God bless our police, our first responders. God bless our military, our veterans. God bless America. And I'll catch you guys next week on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
You're listening to the AlecLace Show. The future is